Greetings and good day to one and to all. Welcome back to another edition of our Bible in a Year series. I am your brother and your friend Will. Grace and peace be to you, my brothers and sisters, as we continue our journey through the Bible. We started on September the 11th, 2022, and now we are reading for Tuesday, September the 20th, 2022, day 10 in our Quest of 365. We're reading chapters 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28 in the book of Job. This will be a two-part episode. In the first part, we'll be reading chapters 24, 25, and 26. We thank God for his holy word and pray that he continues to bless each and every one of us where we stand in need. God bless you. We are in chapter 24 in the book of Job, and this one is continuing. Job complains of violence on the earth. Job was proclaiming God's righteous judgment in chapter 23, and here in chapter 24, Job complains of the violence on the earth. And we are in the New King James Version of the Bible. And the word of the Lord reads here in chapter 24, verse 1. Since times are not hidden from the Almighty, why do those who know him see not his days? Some remove landmarks, they seize flocks violently and feed on them. They drive away the donkey of the fatherless. They take the widow's ox as a pledge. They push the needy off the road. Wow. All the poor of the land are forced to hide. Indeed, like wild donkeys in the desert, they go out to their work, searching for food. The wilderness yields food for them and for their children. They gather their fodder in the field and glean in the vineyard of the wicked. They spend the night naked without clothing and have no covering in the cold. They are wet with the showers of the mountains and huddle around the rock for want of shelter. Some snatch the fatherless from the breast and take a pledge from the poor. They cause the poor to go naked without clothing, and they take away the sheaves from the hungry. They press out oil within their walls and tread wine presses, yet suffer thirst. The dying groan in the city, and the souls of the wounded cry out, yet God does not charge them with wrong. There are those who rebel against the light. They do not know its ways, nor abide in its paths. The murderer rises without, verse 14, the murderer rises with the light. He kills the poor and needy. And in the night he is like a thief. The eye of the adulterer waits for the twilight, saying, no eye will see me. That's what the adulterer said at twilight. No eye will see me. I'm doing this in the darkness of the night. And he disguises his face. In the dark, they break into houses, which they marked for themselves in the daytime. Wow. Job knows. They do not know the light, for the morning is the same to them as the shadow of death. If someone recognizes them, they are in the terrors of the shadow of death. Wow. They should be swift on the face of the waters. Their portion should be cursed in the earth, so that no one would turn into the way of their vineyards. As drought and heat consume the snow waters, so the grave consumes those who have sinned. The womb should forget him. The worm should feed sweetly on him. He should be remembered no more, and wickedness should be broken like a tree. For he preys on the barren who do not bear, and does no good for the widow. But God draws the mighty away with his power. He rises up, but no man is sure of life. He gives them security, and they rely on it. Yet his eyes are on their ways. They are exalted, verse 24. They are exalted for a little while. Then they are gone. They are brought low. They are taken out of the way like all others. They dry out like the heads of grain. Now, if it is not so, who will prove me a liar and make my speech worth nothing? Here comes Bildad here in chapter 25 speaking. He says, how can man be righteous? Chapter 25 in the book of Job. This is the New King James Version. Verse 1. Then Bildad the Shuhite answered and said, dominion and fear belong to him. He makes peace in his high places. Is there any number to his armies? Upon whom does his light not rise? How then can man be righteous before God? Or how can he be pure who is born of a woman? If even the moon does not shine, and the stars are not pure in his sight, how much less man who is a maggot, and the Son of Man who is a worm? That was chapter 25, a short chapter that only had 6 verses. We're going right into chapter 26 here in the book of Job. And this is Job speaking back, saying man's frailty and God's majesty. Chapter 26 in the book of Job, verse 1. But Job answered and said, how have you helped him who is without power? How have you saved the arm that has no strength? How have you counseled, verse 3, how have you counseled one who has no wisdom? And how have you declared sound advice to many? To whom have you uttered words, and whose spirit came from you? The dead tremble, those under the waters, and those inhabiting them. Sheol is naked before him, and destruction has no covering. He stretches out the north over empty space. He hangs the earth on nothing. He binds up the water in his thick clouds. Yet the clouds are not broken under it. Verse number 9. He covers the face of his throne and spreads his cloud over it. He drew a circular horizon on the face of waters, at the boundary of light and darkness. The pillars of heaven tremble and are astonished at his rebuke. He stirs up the sea with his power, and by his understanding he breaks up the storm. By his spirit he adorned the heavens. His hand pierced the fleeing serpent. Indeed, these are the mere edges of his ways. And how small a whisper we hear of him. But the thunder of his power, who can understand? That was chapters 24, 25, and 26 in the book of Job for our reading for Tuesday, September 20th, 2022. We will be picking up the second part of this 2-part episode with chapters 27 and 28. May God continue to add a blessing to each and every one of you. Amen. Amen.